Hey everybody, welcome back to the Grill Mart Co cooking channel. I am the Grillionaire, the internet's favorite barbecue expert, Mark Ashby, and today we're doing a deep dive into a new grill that is on the grilling deck, the Silverbac from Grilla Grills AT edition. Crack open a beer, get some details going. Let's get started. For about 3 years, I have contacted the people over at Grilla up in Holland, Michigan, and I've been asking them, hey guys, what can I do to get a smoker? I pulled the influencer out and I said, hey, can I get one maybe on discount, something else, and I'll post it on my thing. I used every angle. I know they've heard it all. But finally, 2023, they sent me a grill. What does that mean? We're gonna be talking about the Silverbac AT and all the things that are going on with this grill, and I'm gonna give you all the specs. This is our first look into the Silverbac. So when Grilla contacted me and said, hey, we wanna send you one, they have to send it on a pallet, which it was delivered via FedEx and it was packaged perfectly. There was no damage to any of the packaging at all. It was wrapped up really nicely. They also sent me the front shelf and 2 bags of pellets, and the guy rolled it right up on the pallet into my garage, and I was able to build it inside my house. When I brought the grill into my house, it took me about an hour to build the cart. The grill itself is about 80% complete, and it was, again, packaged super well. The biggest benefit I had was I'm lazy, so I was rolling around in my chair, and I used the grill box as kind of like a sawhorse or a table to put the cart together at a good height right here. So I put the cart together in about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes by myself. I waited for my wife to come home and we put the smoker on top and I finished it up. So in total, it probably took me an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 25 minutes to put everything together. Let's talk about the specs of the grill here. The first thing is this grill weighs 195 pounds. That's with the cart and the grill on top. In height, it's 53 inches. It has a width of 47 inches and it is 30 inches deep. When you open the lid to the grill, there's going to be 507 square inches of just lower grate space. When you add the upper rack, that adds an additional 185 square inches for a total cooking area of 692 square inches. And the interior of the chamber is 9 inches tall from the grate to the top of the chamber. One of the things that really impressed me about this grill was the grate itself. The lower grate is a single piece, which makes it a little cumbersome to get in and out, but it makes it nicer and easier to clean. And the grates are a 1/4 inch steel rods. They are thick and the grate is heavy, so you know you're getting a premium product with it. One of the other great features of this grill is that it has a temperature range from 180 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to fast and furious at 500 degrees Fahrenheit. When I was putting this grill together, I noticed that it had very superior build quality. A lot of the seams are welded. It is powder coated and caulked inside the chamber. It's also insulated. You don't see that a lot on a lot of pellet grills. The frame and the body are made from a 14 gauge steel, while the lid is 12 gauge steel. It is very heavy. Since I did get the all-terrain version, let's talk about the cart. One of the things that you lose when you get the all-terrain cart is that cabinet space from the original stand that comes with the Silverbac. So we lose that cabinet space, but we do have a nice shelf at the bottom. The first thing I noticed when building this cart was the oversized solid rubber wheels. These things can go anywhere and over anything, I guarantee you that. The all-terrain cart works well for me. I don't move my grills around a lot, but I know that if I had to, I could go anywhere with this. And there are a lot of people that move their smokers from the garage to the driveway or from the garage to the back patio. And this cart makes it super easy. It has a nice handle that has 2 positions, one in a locking position and another in a lower position that helps you guide it and be able to turn those front wheels at almost 180 degrees. Now on the left side of the grill, we have our pellet hopper. And this is a 20-pound pellet hopper, which you find on a lot of grills. But the good thing is most pellet bags come in 20 pounds. So it takes just a complete bag, you dump it in. What's also great about the pellet hopper is the angles that the pellets fall through. So as it goes into the auger and it burns in the burn pot, there is none left over. A lot of the angles are built well and it was done with the right calculations. On the back side of the pellet hopper, there is a pellet dump feature, and it's really nice. It makes it easy to change out the pellets if you want to change the flavors, or if you just want to do a deep cleaning and you're trying to get a lot of those pellets out. One thing I did not like about the pellet dump feature though, is that it's not magnetic. There are some grills out there that have the pellet dump door magnetic, and it just makes it easier to clean out. This one doesn't have it, I have to hold it. Small negative, but not a big deal. The other thing is the safety grate that prevents your hands from going down in there and getting caught in the auger like a meat grinder, is that you kind of have to push those pellets out through that safety grate, and it gets in the way a little bit. So again, not a bad feature, just something to think about. On the front of the grill is the temperature controller. What's nice about this is it has buttons instead of a dial like your typical pellet grill, but it also only has one port for your meat probe. Now my grill came with the Alpha Smoke Wi-Fi connectivity from that board, and it was super easy to connect to. But one thing you need to know is if you are trying to connect it through the app via Wi-Fi, you need 2.4 gigahertz of signal. It won't recognize 5 gigahertz at all. What's also nice about the control panel is the buttons put it in 5-degree increments, and it's also the same on the app. Now one thing on this grill I noticed that I haven't seen on any other grills that I've owned in the past is that it has a pause feature. And what this is for is when you're in the middle of a cook and you can press that pause button, it'll start a countdown timer for 5 minutes. What this does is as you're lifting open the lid and you're doing work inside the chamber with your food, whether you're flipping wings or anything else, it's not gonna pump out extra pellets to give you a nice temperature spike to go up and down. You can close the lid and forget about it and it will restart after the 5 minutes, or you can simply press the button again and it will resume just like it was. One of the other great features of this grill, not really on the grill, but it's the app that is designed by the guys over at Grilla Grills. This app has 4 main things that I love to see in an app when I'm controlling my grill. The first thing was you can change the temperature, and there's 2 ways you can do it, just by pressing up and down, or you can slide your finger back and forth to go from 180 to 500. The next feature when you swipe right is that it has your food probe monitoring, so you can keep an eye on the temperature of the food just by looking at your app. Then you can also swipe right again and it takes you to the timer section. Now this is really cool because if you have food that needs to be flipped over, stirred every 15 minutes, you can just set a timer within the app and it'll send you a notification when that time is up. It's also great through the app, and the 4th thing that I like about it is that you can turn off your grill just by pressing the button on your screen. However, you can also turn on your grill with the same button and sliding that you're confirming that you're turning on. Now you gotta be careful when doing this because you're starting a live fire and you may not be around. I wouldn't recommend doing that necessarily unless you're in your house, but to each their own. Another great feature about this grill, again, I didn't think I needed until I saw it, and I do know I need it now. You can switch between PID mode and Pro mode. PID mode is going to give you a very scientific, nice pellet feed. It's not gonna have too much swing in the temperature, but it also reduces the amount of smoke that you're using in your cook. Or you can swap it to Pro mode, which gives you a lot of smoke, and that will give you a little bit more of a temperature swing, but I know that I'll be doing a lot of my cooking in the Pro mode. Now after I did my initial burn and got all the oils off, I started my grill back up after it cooled down, and I set it to 250 degrees. I took my thermometer and I set it on the grate, and I wanted to see if the temperature on the display was matching the temperature on my thermometer. When I received notification on my phone that the grill was at the temperature that I set it at, I went outside, placed the thermometer on there, and I waited about 20 minutes, and that should have been enough time for that to come up to temperature. 20 minutes later, I went back and I checked, and I noticed that my thermometer was showing a temperature of about 245 to 250 degrees, and the temperature on the display was about 255 degrees. So I think a 10 degree plus or minus variance is okay, especially because it was in the Pro mode setting. Seems about right. Grilla Grills also sent me the front shelf, and I want to talk about this thing too, because attaching it, you're attaching the hinges just to the body. It was super easy to put together. And it's made of 304 stainless steel, and it has a nice etching of the Grilla Grills logo on the bottom right. The dimensions of the shelf are 10 3/8 inches deep and 26 3/8 inches wide, which gives you plenty of space to put everything you need to place in your grill. Another nice thing, the handle is a little bit higher on the lid, so it's not going to impede anything that you have that you put on the shelf. So this is the Grilla Grills Silverback. I have not cooked on this smoker yet, but I do plan on it, so make sure that you're tuning into this channel to see what great food this smoker and grill will continue to produce. But I do want to talk about some pros and some cons that I've already found in this grill. The first thing I want to talk about that's a pro is, of course, the build quality. The app is another great feature. The design. Grilla Grills has taken a lot of things into consideration. They've listened to consumers, and they keep adding to it or making slight modifications to the grill that will make the experience even better. I love the functionality of the grill. The control panel, the app, everything is designed so it's very user-friendly. And of course, I love the customer service from Grilla Grills that they offer, and I'll tell you why. This is gonna be a con as well, but it was just a small thing. When I turned on my grill to do the initial burn, my igniter rod was not heating up. It was feeding pellets in, no smoke was producing. I couldn't figure out what was going on. I couldn't feel any heat. So I called the Grilla Grills customer service. I spoke to a live person. This is not one of these things where you're just chatting with somebody over a text or anything else. I spoke to a live person, and they walked me through step by step how to fix it. All I had to do was disconnect and reconnect the connections of the igniter rod. Usually in shipping, sometimes those can get bounced around. So as soon as I did that, the grill started heating up, and it was perfect. I have had no issues since then. And so great job for customer service. That was the only downside, you know, as far as turning on the grill and everything else. I couldn't see smoke right away. Not a big deal. Another thing that I see as a potential issue, at least for me it was, because I'm an idiot sometimes, is the lid. When I set it on 450 to burn off all the oils like the manual says, the lid gets really, really hot. And that's because it's that big, heavy duty 12 gauge steel. I burned myself. Just totally my fault. It's not Grilla Grills' fault. I just know that I need to use some kind of heat resistant glove when opening this grill, and I want to pass that along to you so you're not burning your fingers or your forearm like me. And the last con is, again, we talked about it briefly, just the magnet for the pellet dump. Super easy. Since I saw this grill on social media over 3 years ago, and I have tried so hard to save up or to get this grill for the channel, I am excited to see what kind of food this grill, notice I say grill and not just a smoker, because I've had no problems running it at over 350 degrees, no pellet hopper problems, nothing like that, no auger or feed issues, and I've had no issues running it low and slow as well for an extended period of time. So this grill is very versatile just from the get-go, and I haven't even cooked any food on it. It is a great deal for under $1,200, and there's a lot of grills out there that are a lot more expensive. I can guarantee that this Grilla Grills is going to outperform almost any pellet grill you've seen on this channel. That's your first look at the Grilla Grills Silverback. I am giving this my seal of approval, the Grillionaire VIP approval. It is gonna sit on my grilling deck. It's gonna produce a lot of great food, and you guys, I encourage you to go purchase one if you don't have it, or just watch my channel to help you make a better informed decision about which pellet smoker you're looking for. Until next time, make sure you eat well, you do well, and you serve good food on that beautiful smoker.